Money, as I pointed out, this is a matter over which there has been a committee trying to get details of all the allegations and accusations here and there. I understand that committee has written a report, and I think it's unfair for me to repeat what I told the committee before that report is revealed. Once the committee report has been revealed, I will definitely, regardless of what it says, I may give you more information on that. But I wouldn't like to join my colleagues in abusing the committee they set up. Secondly, he had two questions. And the second one I think is important. The tribal question. I told you about the state capture. Part of what is used in state capture is divide and rule. The policy of divide and rule. Wherever a small group of people captures many people, it does not want the many people to remain united, because then they will easily remove the small group. So the small group undertakes a policy to chop up the big group and possibly to put them in collision with each other so that they don't concentrate on one causing the trouble for all of them. So this policy of divide and rule was there even in the colonial time. It was, in fact, that this word divide and rule was coined in the colonial time. Museveni has perfected the art of divide and rule. When he captured Uganda and northern Uganda resisted him, he now chose to turn southern Uganda against the north. And if any of you remembers the election of 1996, his first election, he got the national paper then and put on its front page scars. It was covered, the whole front page was covered by scars. And the message was, the people in the north are killers. They are the ones who are responsible for these scars. I am your protector against the killers. So he divided Uganda against the south that was killed by the north. And he's the protector of the south. When I came to contest in 2001, he said I had betrayed. Even now he talks about my betrayal. Sometimes he says, how could he come up when we were still busy fighting Kony? That's exactly what he means. How does me, who was a member of NRM, who is a member of southern Uganda, now want to challenge and remove the protector of southern Uganda? And you will remember, after that election, I was prosecuted in court for being a supporter and member, actually, of the Kony War. I was prosecuted in court that I was part of the Kony War. You remember the whole story of Opoka? James Opoka. They were linking me to Kony. In the trial, which was in the High Court here, they brought witnesses to testify that I was actively working with Kony. They brought a girl called Jennifer Aliemo. That is the girl who used to come to court with with a huge headgear, where eventually we discovered they were headphones where they were telling her what to say. Whenever she was asked a question, they would communicate. You say this through the headgear. Jennifer Ariemo, I don't know where she is now. She said, I had held meetings with her and sent her, I think even given her money to take to coin. They brought in court a former member of Konye's army called Kamuduru. Kamuduru had just been given amnesty by Museveni, and he was now brought to court to testify against me as having been aware that I am working with them. Kamuduru was here in court. I don't know where he is now, you know? So, anybody who opposed then was part of the killers. So, they branded me part of coin. But we resisted and kept on mobilizing. When he realized that the South had been now mobilized, his lies could no longer hold. They now changed the story. And that is using the capture of the media and propaganda. They now say that Besigye actually works with Museveni. In fact, he is the same with Museveni. He was deceiving the North. He was deceiving the others. He is actually a friend and worker with Museveni. And now Museveni became the friend of the North and the East. And he said, no, now we must end all these problems in the North. He went there to make roads, to do what? Because things had changed where? In the South. Now they know they are no longer killers. So now they are his friends. That's why now he has shifted patronage from the South, because he has been rejected in the South. So he has shifted patronage to where? To the North. That's why now you find the vice president is from Teso, where Besigye received the greatest support. Whenever I'm in all these areas, and it's not a joke, whenever I'm in Lango, Acholi, West Nile, Teso, I always tell those people there that this is the place I feel most at home. Why? Because when I was actually being rejected in the South, they indeed embraced me and gave me sack and support and everything. And that's where, even today, whenever I am there, I feel at home. But now, because they want to brand a different brand, now their friend is Museveni. And that's where he's now appointing people from Teso. So the chief justice, the vice president is Teso. The speaker, Teso. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Teso. And others, these Erweru, or even in the army, those Erwerus coming up, the other one of disaster preparedness and others, you know, the IGP and so on. Now it was focusing the patronage to the North. The Chief Justice from the North. Of course, previously the Speaker Olanya was from the North and so on. So now, that is how even the Maus have been consumed. They see him now in the North. You know, so patronage is now in the North. And so, what is emerging that I am now against, now I am the one against the East. I will also hear it, I'm sure, that I am now the one against the North. because now it is him who is their friend, because he has been ejected from the south whom he was protecting. The people he was protecting in Buganda threw him out. So he has run across the river now. Now portraying the people in the south as the ones who are, I think soon they will become the killers of the north. And he will be the protector of the north against the south. So this is a divide and rule. And when you hear somebody bring, and it's very painful, especially in FDC, for people, because this is, we thought that this is really a revolutionary party with one Uganda, one people. That is what makes us. So to start infusing tribes is extremely shameful. Because if I was against the East, I am accused of having brought Amriat against Muntu. So where was Muntu coming from? And where was Amriat coming from? So why would I then fight Muntu and the other one? Of course, there have been many now accusations. Everything that can be thrown on me is being thrown on me. But I think the population will eventually get a Kasengeja. And of course, I have been accused by the Honorable Nandala now publicly that I didn't support him when he contested against General Muntu. So I don't know whether I have heard it going around, and it is true. I can confirm that I didn't support Nandala. I didn't. I am not the one to tell lies. I didn't certainly support Muntu. Because you see, it would have been, in my view, wrong. I was the party president. I was the one who handed over to the winner. So what is being suggested is that I should have actively participated in choosing my successor. Wouldn't that divide the party then? Because I was the president for everybody. I was the president for everybody. So why should I now say these ones are not mine? I will campaign for Nandala. Muntu is not, I am not his president. So I took a deliberate decision not to campaign for Muntu or for Nandala. And I had contested with Muntu. Previously, I had contested with Muntu. So actually, I was expected to fight Muntu because he had been my opponent. But I didn't. And that is my crime. To express open support, that I didn't express support that would help Nandala win. And there are many, many other accusations, but they will be sorted out, I think, soon.
Yakaya.
To pursue what I believe would be more efficacious. By that time, as all of you may remember, the leaders stepping back and taking a breath to calm down. The crisis will definitely escalate, and I can't predict where the party will end, but quite likely where others have ended. That's a likely trajectory. Because you see, what happens is, once people who are in the party now start acting against others, and others seek to resist them and so on, quite often those who are in power tend to revert to the state to protect them against their members. And I think that is likely a likely trajectory. If leaders don't step back and reflect on whether that's where they want FDC to go, I think it's important that leaders stop back, because there is now like an outright war. It's still a war of words, but it can degenerate even into a physical confrontation, that, like we have seen indeed outside headquarters of other parties. In fact, I hear that now to enter FDC headquarters, you need to be screened. In some ways, there are kanyamas there and things like that. So that escalation is likely to continue if leaders don't step back, take a breath, and reconsider what all this means. And especially to try and resolve the contradictions which are there, which are real. But more especially, since this is also, and this is why this is very dangerous, because it is happening in an election year, internal election year. So, even before the election starts, you are at war. There is no way the managers of the elections are suspected to be uneven-handed. And that spells disaster. So I think it is important that all this grandstanding, elections must continue, whatever should be avoided. I think time should be created by the party leaders to resolve these contradictions, to have a credible process, a process in which all members are confident. These other issues can even play themselves out in the elections, and maybe there will be no way of stopping that. But that's sometimes what elections resolve. They resolve contradictions, provided the outcome will be respected by all. Because if they are not, then you are heading for a rupture. That is the unfortunate trajectory you may end up with. So I hope that there will be sense prevailing to halt the electoral processes, at least until the next National Council, where the controversies that had been discussed by them and they appointed a committee can then engage with that and engage with the other issues that are causing controversies, and hopefully get a solution out of it. But to wind up, let's interrogate, and for the political parties, I would like to interrogate why Museveni would want to fund his opponents. Because one can see it as a contradiction in terms. Why should I give you money when you are going to compete against me? You see, Museveni knows that there is no power in parliament. He doesn't care whether you are in fact, he wants us to be in parliament to legitimize government. Say, but you also win elections. You are also there. Why do you complain when you are defeated? You are also there. So he doesn't he actually wants us to be in parliament, provided we don't seek to remove him, provided we are good opposition. If we are good opposition, he has no problem with us being in parliament. He will give us money so that we are there, so that we are also in the local areas. There is some legitimization it creates, that there is opposition in Uganda, there is, and without that money, actually, opposition indeed, even as some kind of flowers may cease, because you may even fail to get people to be nominated. So he wants to fund an impotent opposition. Secondly, he does not want these opposition groups to link up. The linking up of opposition groups is something that he does not want to see. Whichever, the opposition groups must fight each other, actually, must be at war with each other. And he is behind the creation of feuds between opposition groups. And part of that money is intended to sustain the separation of political parties that are in captivity. They should not link up. Now, if we don't do that, we will never get out of captivity. So that's why, for me, even now, yes, I'm affected by what is going on in FDC, because it has been a strong party with a strong mission of liberation. So if it is weakened, certainly we suffer. But at the end of the day, what will liberate Uganda is to have a linkage of all those who are in captivity, regardless of their parties. We must get together and not focus on his election, but focus on a resistance struggle to remove him. So he's opposed to both. He is opposed to any resistance struggle outside the elections. He wants just, if you are talking about elections, you are his friend. Why? Because election is the killing ground. The election is a prepared killing ground, which will never remove him. He knows resistance, activism, defiance has removed dictators, many, including here in Africa. So Museveni fears two things: fighting him outside the elections, whether with guns or without guns. That's his focus. So he pays money to the politicals not to engage in fighting him outside the elections, and in not getting together to build a strong popular force that will achieve that. So it's up to us. And that's where I end this. Sorry, it has been long, I think, longer than I expected. And for that reason, I think I shouldn't get into the Luganda. If you have questions, you can ask questions in Luganda and I can answer you in Luganda.
Thank you so much.
Achi tetwazimba structures z'ekibiina kuviira ddala ku mitendera egya wansi egy'oku byalo n'okutuuka waggulu ezandibadde oba oli awo ziyamba mu kugonjoola ebizibu bino. Nafuuka party leader mu 2005 nga guggwako nga naakadda kuva South Africa. Of course mukimanyi nti oluvannyuma nayitira mu makomera n'ebirala, naye amakomera n'emisango egyo gye nkubulidde bwe jaggwa ne tutandika okuzimba structure buto. Wali wazimbibwa structure naye ne tuzimba structure buto okuviira ddala wansi ku buli kyalo okutuukira ddala waggulu. Era y'ensonga lwaki twafuna akalulu akalala n'ate ku ntikko nga 2.9. So akasooka kaali 2.5, akokubiri kaali 2.9 nga twali tuzimbye kuviira ddala wansi, kati 2.9 nga tulina okufuna akalulako ku ntikko. Emyaka 5 nga teginaggwa. So ne taamu yange eyasooka nagikutulamu olw'okwagala okuzimba structure tuuke ku ntikko. Era ke kalulu ke nasooka okuvuganya ne gye n'omuntu aka 2.9. 2012 emyaka 3 nga akalulu ako kawedde, nalekulira kuva mu kibiina mu bukulembeze bw'ekibiina. Kuva lwe nalekulira okuva mu bukulembeze, gye n'omuntu yaddamu n'azimba structure. Jjukira ye yali kampeyini ye enkulu nga agamba tulina okuzimba structure ez'amaanyi. N'addamu n'azimba structure kuva wansi kutuuka waggulu. Era structure gye n'omuntu gye yavuganyizaamu ne Honorable Nandala. Structure gye n'omuntu gye yavuganyizaamu ne Nandala ye structure gye nalekawo. Structure gye nalekawo ye yamulonda, n'alonda structure endala ye yamuggyawo. Kubanga abantu abamu bagamba nti nze nali mukulu kwe olw'okumuggyawo. Nedda, nze structure gye nalekawo ye yamulonda, n'azimba structure endala n'emuggyawo. N'olwekyo ekibiina kizze kizimba ki structures. Era wandibadde nga wazimbibwa endala 2019 yeyo eyayisibwa bubi COVID. So structure nakati ekyaliwo yeyo gye n'omuntu gye yakola ki, gye yazimba. So mujjukire nze kati okunvunaana ku bitambula mu FDC tekiba kya bwenkanya, kubanga nze nakulembera FDC asooka, era ne tugezaako okuzimba ekintu ekipya ekitaaliwo. Ne tukizimbira myaka 7 gyokka. Nze nakulembera FDC myaka 7. Kuva lwe nava mu bukulembeze kati wayiseewo emyaka 12 ndowooza. 12 oba 12 ndowooza kuva lwe navamu. So maze emyaka ate wayiseewo abakulembeze banjawulo kati 2. So influence yange mu kibiina tesobola kubanga yeeyo gye nalekawo. Waliwo ebintu birala bingi, buli omu azimbye structure yiye biki. Naye ebizibu bino tebiva mu butazimbibwa structure. Ndowooza biva mu structure ngeri ki gye zikozesebwamu obukulembeze. I think the problem is a leadership problem. So our party is still worth. If was that in Uganda? So ekyo nkimanyi naye kino ekya parties oba zikyalina omugaso. Parties zikyalina omugaso, naye mugaso gwazo si gwe mugaso ogw'olubeerera gwe zandibadde zikola mu biseera ebya obwenkanya, mu biseera mwe muli obwenkanya mu ggwanga. Kubanga bwe wabeerawo obwenkanya mu ggwanga n'enkola eya demokrasiya, ebibiina byandibadde bitegeka ngeri ky'eggwanga gye likulemberwamu n'aba n'alikulembera, gwe gwandibadde mulimu gw'ebibiina omukulu. Naye mu buwambe mwe tuli, kyenva ngamba nti ebibiina bwe bwe biteekyuse munda mu byo ne bisobola okugenda mu maaso nga biina bye bikola wakati mu buwambe, bijja kusaanawo byokka, bijja kusaanawo. Naye kikyasoboka ebibiina bino okwekyusa munda ne byetegeka mu ngeri endala etasobozesa obulabe bwe byolekedde kati okubikolako obulabe nga bwe bibikolako kati. So nze mpagira ebibiina bibeewo naye byetegeke mu ngeri endala ebisobozesa okununula eggwanga, si kuvuganya buvuganya kukulembera, kubanga tewali kyakukulembera kati, ensi eri mu buwambe. So birina okwekyusa munda bifune obusobozi obubisobozesa okulwana kwenunula, bisobole okubaawo mu ngeri eya bulijjo. Era ekyo kyekikyagaanye mu bibiina. N'abawambye eggwanga kyebalwanyisa okulaba nti tekikola ki, tekibaawo. Kati gundi mwami oli yabuuzizza ku kya ssente. Okusooka nakugambye nti nange saagala okwegatta ku banaffe obutassa kitiibwa mu ntegeka eriwo ey'okunoonyereza n'okwanjula bye bazudde ab'akakiiko. Saagala kati nga kamaze nakatuulamu nenkawa byemanyi, byendowooza, byendaba, byonna nabikawa, kawandiisa alipooti tenatuuka eri gye abaakateekako. Kati okujja wano mbawe details ze nawa akakiiko era nga bannange bye babadde bagezaako okukola sikirowooza nti kya buntu bulamu era sijja kukikola. Naye bwe banaamala kusoma ripooti, awo nja kubawa ddembe okulaga oba bifulumidde mu ripooti oba tebifulumiddeemu, wendi nja kubawa ddembe okulaga nze kyemanyi. Nawulidde nti ripooti ejja kwanjulwa nga 28 mu National Council, si kyekiseera ekiri wala. Oba nange yabuuziza oba nange mu ngeri y'emu nafunanga ssente, oba simanyi oba nakifunye bulungi. Of course jjukira nze emyaka gyonna 7 gye nabeerera mukulembeze w'ekibiina twali tetufuna ssente za gavumenti nga eziriwo olwaleero, zaali teziriiwo. N'olwekyo ekibiina twakyeyimirizaawo ffekka nga ssente twali tuzijja oba oli awo ku mutemwa gwe twateeka ku bammemba baffe abaali bafunye ebifo ebirina omusaala ng'abaali mu palamenti n'abalala abalina emisaala nga tubasaba okutuwa contribution etambuza ekibiina n'okukola fundraising ezisobola okufuna naye nga za kimpoozeera ezisobola okutuwa ssente ezitambuza emirimu. Naye bwe mubanga era kye nabuuza bannaffe nga bwe mbabuulidde,
ataragikira kujja